So as we talk about knowledge, okay, as far as repatriation is concerned, we need to look at a couple of different things, okay? And the brothers at the syndicate, shout out to those brothers once again. I got to give those brothers much love, because the brothers, they went in. I'm not gonna spend that much time on the subject, my brothers. I love y'all, but I'm not gonna spend that much time on the subject, because we're going to expound upon the subject at a later date. And what I plan to do is I plan to connect the Zoom related to this topic. And that's why I told the brothers at the syndicate, make sure you turn on your comments so that you have some information set up for what we're going to be, what the people are commenting about inside of on your videos. So when we get into the Zoom, you brothers can go ahead and have some, have your information set up for what you want to share. Also, we want to have call-ins for any others that have never went to the continent. What they may have questions and answers and so forth. Okay, so one of the topics that they brought up was that that African Americans have a romanticized impression about Africa, and it's true. And brother said that they have these romanticized impressions, and they go over thinking that it's gonna be like Wakanda. Okay, and that is the situation for a lot of our people. Okay, and so they suggested that what brothers should do is brothers should take a visit, and not take a visit to one particular country, take a visit to several countries until you find what is appropriate for you. We have people that are in Gambia. We have people that are in Ghana. We have people that are presently in Tanzania. We have people that are in Nigeria. We have people that are in Senegal. We have people in Sudan. We have people in all of these countries, okay, and other places, okay, Benin, all over. Okay, so what I'm saying is that put the work in, do the research, go take a visit. Don't visit one, visit a couple until you find what is best for you. It didn't take me all of that to find what I wanted, okay, because I fell in love as soon as I got outside the States, because didn't take much. Like I said, anything was better than what but of course there's ups and there's downs for every situation. Okay, all right, so the romanticized impression that we have in our minds, we need to work through this, and we work through this with knowledge. So we need to have knowledge of the situation on the ground, and so that comes with a visit. You're going to have many things that you're not going to have control over. You may be in certain situations where you have no electricity. Okay, you may be in certain situations where the water is cut off. So, and not that you didn't pay it, it's just off. Okay, and that's why brothers like Akon went there and facilitated those issues. So that is what the brother was speaking about. The brother Biafra at the Biafra today, is that we could actually be a benefit to Africa, okay, if we channeled our resources. So like Akon is building his own city. A lot of for the money that was spent on the house that 50 Cent built or bought, you could build a whole city and become the mayor, hire your own police, that type of thing. So this is what the vision is. And unfortunately, as African Americans, we've been thinking too small, okay? Because what I want to say is that you have every climate inside of Africa, okay? A lot of people don't know this. You can go skiing in Africa, okay? But Europeans do it all the time, but they don't want you to know that. So there's many different realities that are in Africa on the continent. So as we continue talking about knowledge, we need to look at some of these points that were made, okay, which we talked about the romanticized ideal or the position that a lot of African Americans have, which is true, okay, and also fear. The brother mentioned fear mongering, okay, so as to not to make all African Americans so afraid, oh, you know, you got to leave, they're going to kill up all the black folks. No, they're not going to do that, okay, but most actions that African Americans have carried out have normally been out of fear, okay, a lot of times, because that's the reality of how we live in America, okay. We're constantly living under fear, okay. You may be driving down the streets and you may just do something, you know, shake, you know, a legal turn, or, you know, just because the police got behind you, or cut on your windshield wipers. That's all out of fear, because you're nervous now of what could happen, knowing that you ain't even do nothing, okay. So brother mentioned fear mongering, which is a point, okay. I don't think that is a concern for someone who is, if you're sincerely fed up and you want to be free of that type of, it's not to say that you can't still own your house in America. I'm not saying you can't do that, okay? No one said you can't keep it, okay? All right? You could rent it out. You could sell it. You could do a lot of things. Okay, so there's many options here. You know what I mean, as far as things you could do, but to be living in fear. Okay, I have to use that a different way, because the brother said that, you know, we shouldn't be fear mongering with our own people, making them feel like, oh, we gotta leave. You know what I mean? But they're already afraid and they're already living in fear. Okay. All right. If you look at the situation on the ground, it's continuous, okay? I mean, it's just continuous. As far as love, speak about love and respect from the Africans that are there, okay? And from my experience, you're no matter where you go, you can be in America, you can be in Africa, you're always going to have people that are going to hate on you, okay? And then also you will have people that will be jealous of you just for the fact of benefits that you may get. Now, and the brother mentioned that, and he said that what we should do is we should ask tribes that are giving land to brothers to allow us to collaborate with other tribes also, and not feel jealous about that, because as African Americans, we come in not with a African view, so to speak, tribal view. We come in with a love for Africa. We actually love, but then when you get inside, you do find out that, oh, this tribe, oh, we don't really rock with them like that. Oh, no, you know, it's you know, and so this is where those elements are there. And so you need to be able to navigate through those elements and make it to where you need to be at. You got it all over Africa. All right. I think the only people who have gotten it under control is Rwanda. So we need to mention, and we need to look at Rwanda, and Rwanda needs to be the blueprint of an African president working to solve the issues in this country. Okay, because I have to give props out to the president of Rwanda. Okay, and so also speaking about tribal conflicts, this also come with love and respect for the affairs. For Africans, and also Africans for African Americans, because there's a lot of tribal conflicts that we're entangled in. A lot of us may link back to particular tribes that we have lost contact with because of tribal wars 400 or 500 years ago that landed us in America, okay, as prisoners of war. So we're the product. And so another point that I would mention, and this is where the direction in which I've moved towards, okay? Mind you, I've been overseas now I expatriated. My repatriation took place in 1990. It wasn't the first time I went over. I went over in 1996. I went back over in 98, and then my final was in 1999. Once I went the first time, I was convinced that, you know, I was done. Okay, because I was able to go and then go back and observe the feeling, and then go again, and then go back, and observe the feeling. So after doing that, I was able to come up with the conclusion that no matter what the situation is, I feel more comfortable, I feel safer in Africa, whereas opposed to being in the States. So one has to determine for himself, and you determine that through knowledge by visiting Africa, okay, and deciding where it is that you would like to be. For me, my first time traveling was in 1996, and I was there only for like about, I want to say, between 4 to 6 months. And then after going back, I was able to weigh or measure my feelings and see the effect. Okay. Then I went back again in 1998, and then I went back again. Okay. And so also on that trip, I was able to measure my feelings and see how I felt. Okay. And so after the second time, I knew that, you know, I can't do this, you know what I mean? And I knew where I needed to be at. So it became easy for me to make that decision based upon my experience and my going back and forth. Mind you, I'm from California, okay? And, California has certain situations. I come from, I was born in Los Angeles, but originally born in Los Angeles, but my family moved down to San Diego. And so for those who know me, I don't even have to speak on it. You already know my background. For those who don't know me, typical California upbringing, typical living, okay? And one's awakening or one's choices comes about as one experiences things, okay? And so that's what made me decide that, okay, this is good for me, okay? And so after I made that decision, it was easy for me to just go and make it final, okay? I would say that on my first trip, was overwhelming, to be honest with you. It was very overwhelming. Spiritually, spiritual freedom, overwhelmingly, I cried, it was, and this is some of the romanticization that the brothers speak about, but it's a reality that if you've been, I think for some, it can be an overwhelming spiritual awakening, or you just, if you're caught up into just the moment, it can go away, okay? Because this is continual. It's forever. If you make that decision, okay? If you make the decision to make it forever, it could be forever. If you make the decision to make it, I'm gonna just visit, I'm gonna keep visiting, that's on you. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. I applaud all of it.